You know what? In real time, ladies and gentlemen, the movie he was speaking about, The Son, is also a star. Just so happened that DB's movie Junkie just came to life for the first time in the studio. DB, can you explain?
Yeah, so that was my segment, Movie Junkie, we just heard, and it is the first time that the actors from the film I was reviewing were sitting here listening to it. So I'm sitting here in the back like, oh, Jesus, please. I hope they're not listening. No, but it was good. I saw the movie last week, and I got to say, I'm a fan of anything that's shot in New York. Like, it just makes me appreciate the city even more. And, we have Yara, who's known for Grownish. We have Charles, who's here, and he's got a movie coming out that we're also going to talk about, hopefully, with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Yeah. and you're starring in Stan Lee's last project that he did, so you've got something big coming up as well. Yeah. They're both big. They're both in this movie about romance, and they meet on this crazy day for the both of them. Two teens fall in love. It's a great love story. It's a great date movie. Yes. Please welcome Yara Shahidi and Charles Melton.
Hello. Hey. Good to have y'all on the show. Charles, I understand you're a fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of surreal to be here right now with you guys.
Yeah? What is it like? This is the highlight of your press run?
This is coming here. This is the highlight. No, genuinely, real talk. Like, we've been on this press tour for about 3 weeks now, and this is pretty much the final thing that we're doing before we head back to L.A. And to be here with you, man, it's very, very amazing.
I saw the movie. I feel the same way. And Yara, you're someone that has really moved me, not just as an actress, but in your activism, and to be where you are at life right now, and to be so knowledgeable and so powerful, and it's extremely inspirational. It's reinvigorated my activism in my own heart. Some of us older folks sometimes, you could get complacent in it, making a little bit of money and all that stuff. And but you, along with folks, I know a little bit of people in your network. Some of the work you guys are doing right now really gives me a lot of great hope and gives me a lot of desire to be a part of our future. And so I love the way you utilize your platforms, Blackish, Grownish, and all the things you do on the big screen now, but you always make a point to talk about issues that are affecting people every single day. So when I look at this movie, The Son is also a star. It is a great love story. But what you're starting to see into, from the South Korean community, as well as the West Indian community, that immigration, which has been a hot topic in our country for recent years, the issues don't just exist on the Mexico, United States, or Canadian borders. Right. This is affecting people all over the world. That undercurrent to the plot, what did you learn or what did you walk away with about how immigration is affecting people?
Yeah, well, I think I walked away with just the importance of continuing to expound and grow the narrative of immigration. Both Charles and I are first generation on different sides of our family. And so, like, our families, our communities are formed by immigration. And to play a character like Natasha who's facing deportation, to your point, like, we don't see that, especially in conversation around the Caribbean community, even though it's really prevalent, especially in New York. And it's something that's important to discuss, especially when we are trying to fight for immigration reform, that we expand who we view as in our community. And I love the fact that we're able to be a part of a project that helps in that expansion.
Absolutely. And your character, Natasha, grew up in New York City. So for the past 9 years, she knew nothing but New York City. Right. And her family was being deported the very next day. And she's like, wait a minute, hold up, man. I want to finish my senior year. I'm trying to go to college. This doesn't affect me, and how many stories you think are out there where it's kids who grew up in this society as a lawful member of this society and being forced to move to a place they never even ever been. Right. Did you get any kind of, people haven't seen the movie like that yet, but that kind of story to me I thought was powerful. And that's the kind of reflection I don't think people see. That's what I walked away from the movie, even in the South Korean community. How accurate was the portrayal of the South Korean families?
Very accurate. It was pretty cool just to see they incorporated it's Dalenchi, which is on the first year of your birthday, your parents kind of set out a stethoscope, a piggy bank, a basketball, and it's in a sense like you're choosing your fate and your destiny.
Yeah.
And so like to see that expressed through the film was pretty cool, man.
What about that dynamic what your parents want you to become as opposed to who you are and what you want to be? Your parents and Daniel's parents wanted him to become a doctor and audition at or having an interview for Dartmouth. And he's like, damn it, man, I don't even want to be a doctor. I want to write. I want to write poetry. And his parents are like, get the hell out of here. We didn't risk it all for you to become a poet. You know, but I'm sure in the South Korean community that it's a lot of that, you know, that dynamic.
Definitely. It's, you know, especially being, you know, the character Daniel, his parents being immigrants, they came to America to give their kids and their family a better life, right? So Daniel's kind of, you know, he's dealing with the idea of like how far is he willing to compromise his own dreams and aspirations in order to accommodate his parents' dreams for him, you know? So like that whole dynamic is kind of heavy. And yeah, it's really cool to see this film like bring light to that, you know, with the Asian community, you know, stereotypically speaking, not so much a stereotype, but like, you know, there is kind of like a method in a sense of to like, you know, this is your destiny, like this is what you're gonna do, like you're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna work here. So to see kind of Daniel like break from that in this film was just it was cool.
It's kind of cool, man. Yeah. This film has a lot to do with destiny. You know, a lot of moments in this film, you know, were happening, and Daniel was trying to convince Natasha that love exists when Natasha was like, that doesn't make scientific sense. It's just your hormones. You know, how do y'all feel in real life?
Yeah, I always say that I feel like Natasha towards the end of the movie. Like, I do remember a precise moment in my life in which I would change every love song whenever they said heart to thalamus, because I'm like, that's where you come up with your actual emotions.
Oh, wow.
So I have been Natasha. I have been that girl. And I think where I am right now is much more this happy medium of, like, I always historicize and contextualize everything. And for sure make room for everything else, like fate and destiny as well.
Okay, so you're open to love.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Daniel, I was gonna go Daniel. You played the role so great, Daniel. Not Charles. Right?
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a hopeless romantic, man. Like, I believe you can fall in love every day. You know, it's easy to fall in love, but it takes work to stay in love. You know, to make the love work. And you know, this movie and this character just, I think I became a little bit more open with the idea of love. I am a little jaded with my own personal experiences, but, you know, just, you know, with the character Daniel to, like, be pursuing the girl and to be so open and vulnerable with, like, his own feelings and his emotions was, it was fulfilling to be a part of that, just to play that. Yeah. You know, because sometimes I want to act all tough and, you know, not express my feelings or my emotions or whatnot. It's just like, yeah, I like you, but I don't need to say it. But, you know, he's just wears his heart on his sleeve. So there's just something I feel like I really took from that.
Yeah, that kid was kind of wimpish, right? When it came to love, right? Not in a bad way, but he went all out for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
really did.
Yeah, and you was like, whatever, dog. They're trying to send me away. You know, I don't have time for this. DB,
like you were saying, fate, chance, being in the right place at the right time, destiny, all of that is a big part of this film, and you'll see it whenever you watch the film. But even though I subscribe to that, it also means that free will doesn't factor in, because if everything happens for a reason, then you're not exactly in control of.
Right.
And I think that's where I like Natasha's perspective, in that I think you can believe in destiny and still believe that you should not be passive in your own life. Like, I think the way I generally maneuver is that we pursue the things we want with a drive, and then there's going to be those moments where you realize it doesn't align, and that's when you shift and embrace that. And so that's where I think my character represents that kind of, like, happy medium, because you're absolutely right. And you're dealing with a character who's facing deportation, in which that wouldn't make sense for her to, like, say, okay, let me take a back seat. It was important for her to continue to try and fight for her family versus say at the beginning of the movie, okay, it is what it is. I'm staying here.
Okay. All right.
You know, just to go on that, like, when you're talking about free will and coincidence and fate and destiny, I feel like everything's relative, right? In a sense of, you know, something may happen today that won't make sense. It'd be nothing, but it won't make sense until an hour from now, or a year from now, or like 10 years from now. Like every moment has its own reason behind it, but it's not really, it's beyond your understanding. Like it's not your job to figure out, why did this happen? Why did I meet this person? Like, why did I trip and like bust my knee? You know what I'm saying? So like this whole idea.
Getting personal.
Yeah.
That happened?
Right, was that in the morning? What happened, Charles?
No, that's first thing that popped in my head. Actually.
Just to pivot a little bit, but to still stay within the intersection of art and activism, and Yara specifically, like you've been such a shining example of how self-love is a revolutionary act, and I really appreciate you sticking with that mission. Can you speak a bit about this invasive bill that has come to pass into law with the anti-abortion law over in Alabama, and so many young women as well who feel like figuratively our bodies are being kidnapped by men and there's no hope, even though you do give us hope, like Sway was saying. But what are your thoughts on that? Charles, feel free to share too.
Well, I mean, it's something that I'm still trying to educate myself on so that I'm fully aware of the issue at hand. But, you know, from what I gained, and I wrote about it last night, what it represents is a complete unraveling of civil rights, especially the invasion of body. And when you're dealing with, like, somebody invading the little autonomy you have, that's a significant act of suppression. And so you're absolutely right. I mean, as young women, as people who just reproduce, the idea that somebody else can control that in you, when we are not living in a perfect world, prenatal care is not available to everybody. We do not live in a system in which the foster care system sets people up for success. It's not as though we've created this place for children to thrive and to support mothers even. And so it's completely counterintuitive, because you see that it is an absolute just like a power trip.
Yeah.
And we're witnessing it, and it's important. And like what I had posted on my page that it really spoke to me was James Baldwin's letter to Angela Davis. Now, given it was regarding something completely different, but the point he makes is he says, if they came for you in the morning, they'll be coming for me at night. And I think so many times we look at this like, oh, this is something in the South. You know, but like the North is just as involved, and we've always been. And our okayness with being detached from issues of the South, being like, oh, well, you've always been conservative, is how we've been complicit. And I think it's really empowering to see how many people have used this platform to say, okay, sure, this has just happened in Alabama, but it's just as important to understand that if it's happening in Alabama, it's already happening in Missouri, it's already happening where I'm from. And it's important to protect everyone.
Yara Shahidi,
Well
ladies
said.
and gentlemen, Charles Melton, man.
Yeah.
They not just acting.
Charles, have you felt this shit with working with Yara and seeing how her mind works? Like, have you become even more of a deeper activist? Like, have you thought about this? Because we need our male co-signers as well when it comes to issues like this.
Yeah, no. You know, Yara, she's so intelligent and so beautiful inside and out, and it's definitely inspired me, just her what she represents and how she carries herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me want to be better. It makes me want to know more, you know. And I've like, you know, I've learned, you know, just we've had discussions, you know, just, you know, personal discussions about certain things, and just I've never been around someone that's kind of opened my mind in a sense, you know. And I consider myself to be very open, but, you know, very freely open my mind and just really just makes sense for me, you know. Like, I wasn't the best in school and whatnot, but just, Yara, so not only was it fantastic shooting this film with you,
Thank you.
with Yara, but, you know, I walked away more than just doing a beautiful love story, you know, that touched on so many timely things. Like, I'm definitely a better man today from working with Yara and being with Yara.
All right.
Oh my gosh, man! The movie extended. Is this extended? A movie part 2,
Director's cut over here.
and did he give you all that voice? You know what I mean? Oh man,
That was real.
I know that's real,
Sincere.
but I love it. Truly I do, and I love your karaoke scene as well.
We've been watching it in like the screenings and everything, and it's so funny to see. You know, there's a difference between watching the film by yourself. You're more of a critic, I believe, but then watching with the people and like experiencing their responses and everything. Everyone laughs when I hit that second note. Everyone just starts busting out laughing. I'm just like,
I'm trying here.
I'm putting my heart and soul in this.
You know, one of the things y'all did was kind of like a love quiz. Was it a love quiz?
Love quiz.
Yeah.
Yes.
New York Times quiz.
A New York Times quiz, and we thought, you know, since you come to Sway in the Morning, we'll do our own Sway in the Morning.
Why not?
Love quiz, and it's called
The Love Quiz.
There it is.
All right. Shahidi and Charles Melton, you two managed to find love on the big screen. But we want to get your advice for people who want to find it in real life. This is the Love Quiz.
All right.
Right now on Sway in the Morning.
Okay, Yara and Charles, just answer honestly, man.
All right. I feel like I'm about to be so useless.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
I'll
wait.
faith in you.
We're giving advice right now.
You'll
Well,
see.
we're going to get your opinion on some things.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Long distance relationships, no chance or anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Oh, somebody's
I feel like
believing in
Yara-
love all of a sudden.
Yara's like, anything's
Yeah.
possible, right?
Those 4 minutes did make a difference. All right.
Okay.
Sliding in the DMs, too risky or worth a shot?
If you slide in for friendship,
That's a form of a relationship.
I've had like lots of friends from the DMs. But there's been some that have been a little abrasive, and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. What about you,
Charles?
That was meant for you too.
Yeah, for the DMs and stuff. I'm not doing DMs or anything like that because I have a girlfriend and stuff. But like, yes, yeah.
Good.
Yeah to the DMs.
Yeah,
He was trembling.
Great answer.
All right. If the parents don't like you, stick with it or it's a lose-lose situation.
Oh, it's a lose-lose situation.
I think stick with it.
Oh, if the parents. Oh yeah, if the parents don't like you, yeah, things take time.
What the hell is that?
Right. Yeah, they take time. They
Yara
might.
Shahidi.
Yara's like got the puppy
Yeah.
thing going.
All right. Dating apps, catfish heaven or possible love connection?
Cat. What?
Dating apps,
Yeah.
Tinder, Bumble, all that stuff.
See, a lot of my friends, their pictures are used on dating apps for people that like aren't them.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's a different type of catfish.
Yeah.
It's like identity
You're the
theft.
bait, right?
Are you asking what dating apps?
I'd sit out on that one.
Charles has no idea
Yeah,
what you're
it's just-
asking.
All right, here's what I know about Tinder in Korea though. Like people link up off of Tinder in Korea just to like learn English and stuff like that. Yeah, for real. Like, they're not hooking up. They're just like,
So it's an
they wanna learn
educational
English.
resource.
Oh, okay.
We're rebranding it. Tinder, the new
Building your
Duolingo.
network. Yeah. All right.
Last question. Love at first sight, a real thing or it doesn't exist?
Oh, real thing.
Real thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
My parents met when my mother saw my Bubba. She was like, oh my goodness, that's my husband. They didn't even talk that night. She broke up with her boyfriend.
What?
She's in here. You can ask her. But
Girl, is that true?
yes. And I've met friends who've confirmed this. And
Really?
they didn't talk for I don't know how long, but once they finally got on the phone, he's like, of course I remember you that night. Mind you, they did not have a conversation. And we're like 3 kids in, and we also have a dog now, so it seems like a commitment.
Yeah.
24 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. And you
God bless.
You just knew you knew he looked right, but
A download, yes.
really?
My mouth. I said it and I was like, ooh. And then I did break up with a young man.
Did you really? Did you were you fearful that you might speak to her dad and he was corny maybe? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think my spidey senses knew he wasn't corny.
okay. All right.
She was on point. Look what she produced.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's awesome. Be able to that's brave to follow that impulse like that.
Intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I hope she elevates it, evolves it.
Okay. That's what's up. All right. What about you, Charles?
Love at first sight. Hopeful curiosity. I believe in it, but like Bruce Lee said, he believes in love at first sight, but he also believes in taking a second look.
That was the realest answer I've ever heard.
Well, man. Hey, listen.
Does that count?
Yeah, I guess. But I hope to see you guys work together in the future. You have awesome chemistry on and off the screen.
Thank you.
Yara, thank you. Continued success. You
Thank
have a
you
lot
so
of
much.
allies in your corner and your parents. You have amazing parents.
Oh, well, I'm really grateful for you.
Absolutely. I saw them on the plane last week, and I was going to freak out, but I didn't. I was like, oh, shit, family here.
I know.
You
I think the best thing is we were freaking out.
Y'all was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I didn't want to bring no attention to you. We sat in the same row, and I was hitting my daughter, yo, guess who I'm sitting next to? You know,
And I hit my brothers.
oh, did you really? Okay, well, tell them all they're citizens.
Yeah.
Sway in the morning, okay? Good to meet you, too, bro. Continued success. That opening scene gonna get you a lot of work, bro. You know when you in the mirror and you shaking your butt? Charles Melton, ladies and gentlemen.